Hi there, Zsoka here for a pocket full of happiness, and today I'm going to show you how I created these two cards with one of my new stamp sets called For Mum. This stamp set has a few floral images, leaves, and a bunch of sentiments for Mother's Day or just for Mum in general. Now, I created some masking stencils for so I have these images on the packaging, on the back of the packaging, just to help you, just to give you ideas what you can create with the stamp set. And I actually designed this stamp set with that particular card in mind that I'm going to create now. And this is a one-layer card with a lot of masking. So I'm just trying to figure out what works best, but in this video I'm using, I created these mask stencils from stencil material with a cut file. The cut file will be available on my website, so you can buy that, and it will actually have 3 different sizes. I will talk about this more in another video, probably in the release video, which I haven't done yet when I'm doing the voiceover on this one, but I'll try to remember to do that. Anyway, so when you are creating a one-layer card with masking, the most important thing is that you think about what you want to have in the foreground, because those are the things that you have to stamp first. So I want to have the flowers in my foreground, so that's what I'm doing now. I'm just stamping the flowers. I'm trying to show every ink that I'm using. I'm using Altenew inks today, but I will also link them in the description. Oh, excuse me, I'm using Pinkfresh for the yellow ink, but the rest is Altenew. So I'm stamping the flowers. I'm stamping 4 flowers, and these are very simple images, and well, you can call them layering stamps, but they are just really simple layers. And what you just saw me do here is treat the stamps with just, rubbing an eraser over them. These are new stamps, and I always do this when the stamps, photopolymer stamps, are new, just so that the ink has a grip on them, if that makes sense, so that it doesn't pull up and the stamped image is not going to be blotchy. Okay, so now that I have the flowers, I'm trying to figure out what to stamp next, which is let's say the second layer in the background. And these are going to be these aqua or pool color leaves. These also have 2 layers to them. And okay, so I'm using these Easy Dots. This is a temporary adhesive to keep my stencils in place, or masks. And it doesn't work well, but I didn't want to add another adhesive because I didn't want to damage my stamped images. So this stencil material is quite thick. I cut it smaller than the stamped image, but even so, I have to press down really, really hard to get into those, to get close to the already stamped image. And yeah, it doesn't work perfectly, but I found a better solution to this problem, which is another product. It's called Masking Magic from Gina K, and I created a cut file for that specifically. That is actually exactly the same size as the stamped images, because that is such a thin material that if you cut it smaller, then you have you stamp the images all over each other. And The other, yeah, the other issue I had with the stencil material is that once you layer, like here, I have 2 layers already. They are super thick, so it's really hard to work with. So yeah, I'm just stamping my leaves, and the second layer is just a fun pattern. And then once these are done, I only have some green leaves to add. Those are a different shape. And then, yeah, most of the card is done. It's not a hard thing to do. It's not complicated. It just takes some time to, you just have to think about what you want to stamp first. The image, basically what I did here and why I create those images for the packaging is because it gives you an idea if you don't know what to do with it first. And if you look at the graphic, then you can just easily follow the steps, because you see what is in the foreground, what is in the background. So it's easy and you don't have to think about it, which is why this card was not too, it didn't take me too long to stamp, which it would if I had to think about it, So that's why I like to create those graphics. For it's a help for me as well, when I test the product, not to having to spend days on that face. So yeah, so this is gonna be close to the end already, and then I will only add a sentiment to the card. And this is very unusual for me because I really like layers and layers of things, but I just wanted to create something different. And even though this is a 1 layer card, I think because of the way the image is, I think it gives it interest. I don't know, I really like this image. So yeah, and now I'm gonna stamp the sentiment, and just so that I don't mess up the whole background that I worked so long on, I'm adding a scratch cardstock just to see if I lined it up correctly, and as you saw, I didn't. So it's a good thing I didn't just wing it and stamped it directly on the background. Okay, so as you see, it's not perfect. There are some overlapped little bit, yeah, like this little piece, but that really doesn't bother me. It kind of adds to this illustration, I think. Okay, so on to the next card. This is also on the back of the packaging. And this one doesn't require any masking. I wanted to create one example with masking and one that doesn't need any mask. So, okay, I'm also using Pinkfresh ink for the brown color. And I stamped my sentiment first because I wanted this to be in the middle. And then I can just stamp the flowers all around it. And like I said, these are simple images, but they do take a few layers. So there's a few layers to each of them. So it does take time to create it. Because unfortunately you can just stamp one at a time, unless you just use one color and then you can stamp several at a time. So while I'm building this background, I'm trying to be mindful of the placement. Like here, I'm trying to see where I want to add these branches. So, I always check before I stamp the next image if I'm gonna have a space where I imagined it to be. But I'm closely following that graphic on the packaging. In the end, it's scaled down. So just be careful. It's not gonna be, it might not turn out exactly the same way, but that's okay. I mean, that's the nature of a handmade card, right? They are all different and all is good. So using two different pinks for the flowers, but then one yellow, and from, you know, it's in the end it's not gonna be like the graphic on the packaging, because I misplaced something, and then of course the whole design is different. And what I did notice, that one of the yellow flowers I only used once. I mean, it doesn't bother me eventually, but I'm just mentioning that because I guess I got distracted. I didn't, or the other shape fit better, maybe. I don't quite remember. So, anyway, that's all there is to it. So, this is just the first layer, and then there's another two layers to the pink ones, and then for the yellow I think there's only one, and then the middle pieces. I'm not sure why I left all of this in the video, because I mean, I guess this is not very helpful, and there's not much to talk about, but I hope this gives you an idea. I don't know what I was showing there. If I made a mistake, maybe, I'm not sure. Anyway, so let's get back to the cut file now that I have time to talk about it. As you know, I don't have coordinating dies. I'm not sure if I will ever have, but somebody recommended that I create at least coordinating cut files. I don't know, maybe it helps some of you. I do have a Silhouette Cameo, so for me it's useful. Obviously, it's not gonna be as nice as a die would be, because that has really nice, beautiful edges, and an electronic machine just doesn't do that. But anyway, it's going to be available, and what I wanted to mention is that the cut file will have 3 different sizes. One for creating like ephemera pieces, let's say, so that you have a little bit of white edge around the flowers or the images, just like you would have with a coordinating die. Then there is a size for what I used for the masking stencils, but I also write a text there that the result is not as good as with the other size that is for the to use with the masking magic, or anything like I don't know, maybe you can buy some post-it kind of thing that is really thin. I don't have it, so I don't know, I didn't test it with that, but I imagine it would work the same way. So I have these 3 sizes of cut files in one cut file. All right, so that one I messed up. I mean, they are really forgiving anyway, but there is a way that they are layered. So that one I messed up. Anyway, now I'm just gonna finish them up, turn them into cards, and here I'm just creating my card base. I'm like 98% of the time I'm using a top folding card base. I don't know why I prefer this, to be honest, but I never kind of do side folding cards. All right, so if you know me, you know I love my twine, so I'm adding that because there's not much I can add to this card. And of course, the other thing that I like to add is enamel dots, just to the flower centers, and I will do that here as well. if it's a 1 layer card, I feel like I still want to have a little bit of different texture and dimension. And these are the two things I, excuse me, I normally go with. I'm sure there's other things you can do, but these are kind of my staples that I always do. I always glue down the twine in the middle just so that it stays in place. But there's really no other reason for doing that. And yeah, I'm adding my enamel dots here. And then I'm gonna do one more thing with these cards, and that's a little bit of gold splatters, because that's always good, right? Gold is good. So yeah, and that's it. There you have it. And I really hope that you like this new stem set and maybe you want to give it a try. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be making some other cards with the other new stem sets, and I hope to see you there as well. Thank you very much again. Bye bye.